Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I got this little side table just from Kmart. It didn't cost very much at all, and I got my little test pots of paint from RESINs, and this is for a little girl's bedroom, and I've been asked to paint them in these colours, so we'll see how that goes. So first of all, I just have to sand this piece of wood. It's got a bit of a gloss finish to it, so I'm just going to sand the top lightly and the sides. And what I'm going to be doing today is a paint pouring, and then I'm going to do a resin top coat after the paint is dried. So I just got some sandpaper, I think it was about 200 grit sandpaper, and just lightly sand off that shine. Wipe away all your dust. And then just give it a coat of primer undercoat just to seal it. Just fast forward this for you guys. So now I just lay down a big sheet and I put my paint pouring frame down on the ground. This is so when I do the spinning of the paint, it doesn't fly all over the garage. And I'm going to be putting the tabletop on top of this Lazy Susan, this cake decorating thing. This is the type of idea I had in mind for the little table, something that resembles a flower or maybe a starburst or something like that. And these are the colours she's chosen. Not my choice, but she really liked these colours. She thought they'd go really well together. So I thought, okay, we'll give it a go and see what it comes out like. So first of all, I have to attach the spinner onto the back of the piece of wood. And I have to make sure it's dead centre. Because when you're pouring paint and spinning paint, it needs to be very level and very centre. Otherwise, you're going to have paint dripping to one side. So it took a while, but I eventually found that it was centered, so it was equal on all sides, and I just locked it first and then ran a Sharpie pen around the edge. So to attach the spinner, I just got some masking tape, doubled it up and put that all over the back of it. I did put quite a bit on because the last thing you want is your painting that you're doing to go flying off when you're spinning it. Pop that back on and also just put a little bit more tape around just for security. Just unlock that, otherwise I won't be able to spin anything. So next step is make sure it's level. If the ground that you're working on is not level, your painting isn't going to be level. So I just gave it a quick coat of just some white paint and poured the rest in the middle. I've got the skewer dead center, that's so I know where to start. I'm just leaving it there until I'm ready to go. And here we go, first one pink. And I'm just doing puddle pouring, so I'm just pouring the paint on top of each other. And I'm just going through all the colours and then just repeating it over and over until all my paint's used up. Try and keep the same amount of paint going in each time for each colour. And it's at this point I realised that I had no gloves on. So my hands got pretty mucky. So I'm starting to like these colours now that I see them in rings like that. Except for the yellow. The yellow I think needs to be a bit brighter, and I poured too much yellow to the centre there. You can see it's a lot wider, which will distort your painting. So I was going great guns until this bit here. But never mind, I'll try and level it up a bit. Just give it a quick torch to get rid of any bubbles. And just grab a skewer and work your way from the outside into the centre and wipe your skewer each time. So just do 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And then halve it again and again. As many times as you wish. Just take your time here and try and have a steady hand. So you're not getting all wiggly lines. Try and make them as equal as you can. Now I'm pondering whether I should go around again, and I decide yes, I will make them smaller because when you spin them out, they widen. Okay, now we're ready to spin. But the middle has a bit too much yellow, so what I'm doing is sticking my finger in, and each time I remove my finger, it takes a bit of paint out and it draws the other colours back towards the centre. So I'm just trying to get rid of some of that yellow in the middle. So it's getting smaller and smaller. Just give it a blast with the heat to pop any bubbles. And I just have a little bit of leftover white paint in my cup, so I'm just placing it around the edge. And that will help the paint to move. there is a lot of wastage of paint doing this sort of thing. So it's a good idea to just use leftover paints that you have, unless you don't mind wasting half of it. Here we go. And I can see here that the yellow is quite dominant in the middle there. And I should have just left it as it is right at this stage here. But no, I didn't. I tried to repair the middle, as you see me do here, and that was not successful. You know, sometimes when you're searching for perfection, you just want it just right. You just can end up absolutely ruining it. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So then I decide, what about a swirl? Oh, no. Oh, well. So then I decide I'm going to run some more lines through it. Now I'm just collecting the drips that are falling off the side there, just to clean it up a little bit, because it will keep dripping for about 10 minutes. You just go along and scrape those off. Just popped it on top of my freezer and covered it with a net so flies or moths don't land on it. And when it was dry, I took a photo of it and showed them what it had come out like and said I was a bit disappointed with it. And they said they did like it, but there was too much yellow and it wasn't bright enough. Do I have any other paints? And I said, yeah, I've got some pink. So I've got some leftover pink. How about we give it a go? Yep, let's do the pink. So she was quite happy to let that painting go. And so was I, because I didn't really like it. At that stage, I didn't like it. So I just pour a bit of the lightest pink on there and just spread it out just to cover. And it's quite thick, so it didn't really spin out. So I just used my little palette knife and spread it right to the edge. Oh no, what do you want? Oh, look who's just turned up. The neighbour's pet pig. Go away, Elsa. Go away. No, go away. Go away. Go on. Can't have you interfering with my paint job. Go on. So now I'm just giving it a blast of the heat, popping little bubbles that have come up after I've covered the whole surface. And let's go ahead with our pinks. So I've got 3 shades of pink. This is the first one. This is the brightest one. And I'm just going to guess this time where the middle is. And I did thin these paints down a little bit because they were a bit thick. So I'm just going from darkest to lightest with the pinks, with just those 3 shades. And I'll just speed this up for you. And this time I'm wearing gloves. I learnt my lesson. Okay, now the skewer again. Same thing as last time. I decided to have the darkest pink as my centre colour, and I'm hoping that would do a better centre than the light colour that I had with the yellow. Just trying to put the middle of the flower in the centre again. And now I'm deciding, do I do some more petals or just leave it there? And I'll decide a little bit more because they do spread out. Okay, so the middle can get a bit mucky the more you pull that skewer in. So just straighten it up a little bit. And then whatever you've got leftover paint, just pour that around the edge and that'll help it spin evenly. So it's nice and wet and not dry on the edge, because that first layer that I did to cover the whole piece of wood, that would be starting to get tacky now. And we can spin. And if you are worried about the centre, you just pop your finger in a couple of times and pull a bit of paint out. But you should do that really before you spin, and I've just done it afterwards. You can still do it afterwards, but it is better if there's more paint in the middle. It's thicker. So when you pull your finger back out, it really pulls that paint back in. So I'm just doing a bit of repair work here just to even it up a little bit. Okay, spin again. Look at that paint flying off the edge. It is good fun doing this paint pouring, acrylic pouring. So I've got a few little gaps there. Just one more spin, it should do it. I've got a couple of little white pieces there with my thumb is there. Just want to cover those, so one more. That's better. So just pop that onto the freezer. Cover it with the net again. After I've scraped the bottom, just run that popsicle stick along the bottom, collect up any of the drips. Do that about every 10 minutes for half an hour, and then that should be enough. Go home, Elsa. Go on, shoo. No, off you go. Go, go, go. Get. So with all the paint that went flying off the edge, I just collect that up usually and pop it into a container, and whatever that colour ends up being, I may use it one day. And you'll see that I do actually use this paint later. So try not to waste too much paint. Okay, we are back. The paint has set, it's nice and dry. I've put on some of these butterflies because I wasn't happy with the composition of that so-called flower. So I just popped some of those butterflies on there. They're paper thin. They've got a transparent film around the outside of them, which you can't see, so that's cool. Now, what I thought I'd do is I'm going to top coat it with some resin. So I need to make sure that is level. Resin will find its own way where it wants to go. I think that's level there. Oh yeah, okay. So I am going to put some epoxy resin on top of this. It's going to take quite a few days to dry because it'll be so thin. The thinner the resin, the longer it takes to dry. And I'm also going to put in just a tiny little bit of these pink love hearts and these purple love hearts. Just a few, just so every now and again you see a little bit of glitter there, a bit of shine. So, first step, I've got this resin here I'm going to be using. Epoxy doming resin. It's super hard finish on it. I shouldn't need much because I'm just going to be putting it over with my hands, and it will drip down the side a little bit. So let's go ahead and mix that up. So this epoxy resin is a 2-to-1 mix, so 2 of this to 1 of the hardener. So I'll put the hardener in first. I'm going to be doing just 10 mils. It's by volume, not weight. So 10 of that, 2-to-1, means I need to put 20 of this in. So it's on 10 at the moment, we'll take that up to 30. That's 30. Now I need to stir this for at least 5 minutes. Where is my stirrer? Here it is. Just got these silicone stirrers, they're great. So we'll just stir this This is going to take me at least 5 minutes, so I will stop the camera and I'll be back soon. Now I've stirred this for a minimum of 5 minutes, probably more like 7. It has to be mixed really, really well. If it's not mixed really well and there's striations through it, it's not going to cure. You're going to have sticky spots everywhere, you're going to have dimples everywhere, it's just going to be a big mess. So the more you stir it, the better. It takes a long time to cure, so I'm not worried about time here. I'm just going to pop in a little bit of glitter, not much. So just got the odd piece in there. Just wondering if I should do the other colour as well. I might just stick to that light colour and I'll just put a little extra in. I won't go with the dark colour. So these pieces of glitter holographic, and they're the shape of a, you can see that, love heart. I'm just going to let that sit for a while and degas. There's trillions of the tiny micro bubbles in there. I'll just wait 5 minutes before I pour it on. Just have a little bit of rubbing alcohol here, isopropyl alcohol, and see all those micro bubbles, I don't know if you can see on the top there. Just give it a little spray and it will help pop some of those. Just breaks the surface and the bubbles can be released. Right, that's looking good. Let's go ahead and pour this. Tiny little stir. I don't want to create bubbles, but I just want to bring that glitter to the front. Right. Now, I just want to smooth this out. Right to the edge. Right, I think I'll just use my hands now. I'll just make sure everything's covered. Resin is self-leveling, so it should be nice and even when it finally settles down. I'm just going to run my hands around the edge. You can feel with your hands where you've missed and where you've got it's nice and slippery. Right, so that is it. can have a look from down on the floor and look across it. And that does look like it's all covered. Now, look at the glitter. There's a big blob of it there, so I might just move that bit over to here. Spread them around a little bit. Cool. Right, now I'm just going to leave that. It will self-level a few days' time. Should be nice and dry and rock hard. Yeah, didn't think I'd leave it messy like that, did you? Got my leftover paint. Give that a bit of a stir. It's got all the pinks in there. And we'll just follow that line and tidy it up. So, this is it finished. You can see the glitter there if I hold it to the side in the sun. And I just put a few little flowers on the legs too. I know, it's probably too many butterflies, but little girls love butterflies. So this is it. What do you reckon, guys? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.